Hey, so welcome to the Hybrid Hustle. I'm here with my man Demitrius DaViega.
What's up? What's up? How we doing?
And man, I'm excited to talk about today is a couple things. Number one, definitely gonna talk about wholesaling. We absolutely are gonna talk about that. We also gonna talk about real estate. And if you guys got any questions, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Let's kick it off, man. Hey.
800K, got them beats, coach. I'm riding around getting money. I just be begging $100.
I'm doing good, man. It's good to be here, man. We just got back from doing some business together.
We did. We did. So that was actually a really good one, man. Big ups to Demetrius. He set it up, man. I just knocked it down. I appreciate the setup, man. Good looking on that.
Roll that joint up. Alley-oop and slam dunk.
There it is. We in there, man. Kobe and Shaq, baby. Kobe and Shaq. So, man, tell me a little bit about like yourself. What got you into real estate, wholesale, and the whole nine?
Okay, so my background started in real estate when I was probably about 14, 15. You know, my mom was a property manager at a leasing complex.
Oh,
and
wow.
that was my first job. You know, I worked in the office. I did paperwork, mail, answered the phones, did the whole nine, yada, yada. She managed the property, so she did a majority lion's share of the work. I got to see the ins and outs from dealing with the maintenance man to dealing with the tenants to everything that goes with running an operation for, I think it was 200 units, so it was a pretty decent sized property.
Big property.
And I remember my shining moment was the owner would come and pick up the check. My man was 28 years old. I mean, he came from a wealthy background, but literally just would come and pick up the check. And I'm like,
28.
What do you mean he's coming to pick up the check? You know, what
I
work
feel
does he do?
bad. I'm 28, 29 right now. I'm like, I don't even have it.
I'm 27.
Gotta feel this beat.
He pulled up in his Bentley, and it was just like, that's when the light went off. Like, oh man,
Ding.
That's it. And then so a little bit that transition to what I do now, the wholesale and the foreclosures, is actually when I was younger, my grandpa got his house foreclosed on, my dad got his house foreclosed on, and my mom almost got her house foreclosed on, but she was able to sell it right before.
Nice.
So personally, what I like to think of myself as is somebody that would have been there for my families at that time, instead of just letting all that equity go to waste. You know, opportunity to create a win-win situation out of a dire situation.
That makes sense.
So that's kind of what got the origins going and got it going now. And you know, now we're running a wholesale operation and we're doing a couple deals a year. We're moving a couple different properties, transitioning into some fix and flips, and yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I feel you, man. I actually had my grandmother. She rented a property for, man, when I was going to Baltimore, probably about 20 years, and literally like the 20th year, you know, and the whole time you're not thinking in your mind like you could be paying this mortgage.
Yeah.
The whole time she literally is paying rent, and it wasn't that she couldn't even afford the property. She could actually afford it.
Yeah.
She just never thought about buying it.
Yeah.
And 20 years later, you know, she was like, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and move on. The guy's like, you know, I'm not going to sell you the property. He done collected 20 years of his mortgage payments.
Yeah, she paid it off.
Plus some. And then sold his house, wound up selling his house. He wound up making bread from it because back then, man, 20 years, you hold on to anything for 20 years, it's bound to increase in value, especially real estate.
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people out there, they get to a point where we're all like, what are we going to do, right? We really want to jump into wholesale and real estate and marketing and getting something else going, getting that second hustle going, but we don't know what to do. And here at Hybrid Hustle, we all about second hustles. That's the name of the game. So tell us, man, what made you like all of a sudden just say, boom, I'm going to just go ahead and take this chance?
So actually, I can thank my fiance and my lovely lady for that, because I was at a point, you know, I started in real estate. I was 22. I had tried to be an agent. I told you a little bit about it earlier.
Yeah.
First deal I had, you know, I was going to use the money to pay. Realtor fees get up there. And I was going to use that money to pay for that. The guy lost his job before. Deal fell apart. I went away. It took me from real estate for a while. I went to try to play semi-pro football for a couple of years.
Oh, man, okay.
Yeah, I was a little lost. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And then one day my girl just told me, she was like, you know, why don't you get back into real estate? Mm-hmm. And I really sat there and just thought about myself that night and just like thought about it and just right like that started.
The next day you just like, let's get it.
That night, just researching, looking up YouTube videos. And it's funny because Max Maxwell was the first video I saw. And within a year of consistent business, I got to meet the man, you know, shake his hand, talk to him.
Shout out Max Maxwell, man.
Yeah, shout out to you, brother.
That's that guy, man. That's that guy.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. I came across one of his videos. I didn't even know anything about wholesale. I just came across a video and it just kind of shocked me because I was like, wait a second, this guy made $15,000 off a deal. He wanted to pick up. I think it was actually one of his deals where he was like on his way to the bank or something. He just pulled out all these checks and he like 15 from that one, 10 from this one. I'm like, bruh, Wait a second.
And then you look at what he's doing, it's like he's not doing much but talking to people and really positioning himself to solve problems.
The truth, you don't even necessarily have to talk to people to even get some of these deals done?
So there's a stigma that's in the business that's like that, but people have to understand when you're dealing with wholesaling with houses, it's the number one thing that somebody has. It's their house, their biggest decision, it's their biggest purchase. So yeah, there are like certain people out there that can get things like off a text message or from a phone call or from one thing or another, and you know those are rarities, but you have to be able to solve a problem. The way you make money in your wholesaling is you're not necessarily out there trying to find deals, but you're creating them. You're finding a situation for somebody, and how can I come in and help this person to where it makes sense to them, you know?
Wow. So for y'all out there to think you're actually taking from somebody or hurting somebody, you're actually not hurting them at all. You're helping them.
Absolutely, because if you didn't come along, the person isn't capable enough to find somebody to do something with the property. And these properties, they need work, they need repairs, they might have title problems, this, that, and the third. It might be multiple people on the property. So how can you come in and really solve that problem and get paid for it? And that's all your value is. That's what your fee is. It's still a job. You're still doing a service to somebody the same way you do with anything else. Gotcha.
If I wanted to start wholesaling, like don't know nothing about real estate, only thing I know how to do is math. What would you say I should start with?
Well, the first part is you're going to have to educate yourself. You're going to have to understand these things because, I mean, we all come to a point, and granted, you can over-educate. You can get analysis paralysis where you're studying, but you have to educate yourself as to your state's laws, the process, what does it look like. You have to be able to answer that person's questions. And you're not going to have all the answers, but you have to be able to seem like at least somewhat of an expert if somebody's going to trust you and help them move a property, you know, their home. This isn't clothes or something small. This is a big deal. You know, a real estate transaction is the biggest transaction that most people do in their life.
Yeah, so you think about it. You know, that's like your biggest debt. I didn't even want to do it. To be honest, actually, the reason that we're in this house right now is my wife. Same situation. Ladies, y'all gotta push y'all in, man. Push them, but push them up. Don't push them away. Don't push them down. Push them up.
And believe in them. That's something I'll say too. Like you have to have a spouse. If you're with somebody, they have to support you and understand. Because, like we said earlier, this game is simple. Yeah. The things you do in it are simple, but that does not mean it's easy. Yep. You know, there's a lot that goes into it and a lot that's consistency. And yeah, it has some ups. Yeah, you might get paid 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand at a time. But there are times when you're more times than you can count, your bank account might be negative from your marketing, from this, that, and the third, from deals falling apart. You know, you have to have that resilience to have faith that things are going to be okay, even when they're not.
Gotcha. So definitely be financially savvy is what I'm hearing too coming into this. So if I was to get started, let's say I want to go ahead and buy a deal, right? I'm out looking in my neighborhood or even, you know, in my particular cul-de-sac. I know somebody that's about to be in foreclosure or is in foreclosure. Yeah. And I'm like, man, what do I do to go buy this house? This guy knows me because I cut his grass every day. Yeah. How do I go and ask this guy to let me buy your house?
Well, a lot of that comes from even with the sellers that we deal with, because understanding a lot of people I work with don't want to sell their house, and they're like they have a fight against it because the fact is they have to sell their house. So you have to really learn how to ask problem and impact questions and things that are gonna, you know, what are you gonna do if you don't sell that? Like you have to really get to the root of their problems and let them uncover, like almost like Socrates did in his ways, and uncover what's going on and like, wow, I really don't know what to do with this. And that's where they talk about follow-up. I mean, there's tons of people. Just because I call somebody or talk to somebody and I'd like to buy a house, that doesn't mean their timeline they're ready to sell. Mm-hmm. It's my job to consistently see where they are at that timeline. So when they do think of sell, they call me for 80% of the sales that you're probably going to make in your wholesaling business are going to be in front of me.
Wow, so follow up, man.
Absolutely.
Got to.
And it's about being a good person. You know, you're in it not necessarily make a bunch of money, but you're really a problem solver to help people and find the solutions to their problems.
So what would you say was your biggest check?
Well, probably, so my very first deal, we closed, I made $2,700. You know, that was eye-opening to me because that was proof of concept. Like, hey, I can do this thing. I can get it done.
$2,700 that you ain't had before. I'm like, yes, sir. I'm with it.
Yeah, and then the next deal that I did after that, I did with a partner, and we got the house for 90 grand, and we sold it within a week for 115. So we made 25 on that we split. So, and then that was it, you know.
So you don't have to do this by yourself. You can partner up with somebody if you want to.
It actually helps to leverage partner. You know, it's all about collaborations, opportunities out there. You don't have to do everything on your own. Gotcha. But a partnership is like a marriage. So make sure you use that word sparingly. It's always an opportunity. You always got to shoot your shot. And that's the thing. That first deal that I got from the MLS, you would never think it. I just went on there and found agents. Hey, I saw you bought an investment property. If you got any more, I'm interested in it. And the guy happened to be like, hey, you want the house? I'll sell it to you. They didn't want it. It had septic problems.
That's crazy.
You never know where your deal is going to come from. But
So you literally bought a house off the MLS. And for y'all that don't know, the MLS is the multiple listing system. It basically is just a place where realtors go to put a house on the market so that everybody else can see that this house is for sale.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why that's huge for him to be able to do that is because when you put the house on the MLS, everybody can see this for sale. So for him to go and see a house that's for sale that anybody could have also came and bought, but to buy it and then resell it again, that's huge. Very, very big. And you made $2,700, which is no small feat. And then the next one, $25K. I'm still a little bit blown away from that. Now tell me this, because I'm under the impression when I'm trying to go buy these houses, I gotta have this $90,000 to go and buy this house.
Yeah. Well, what you need to do is, as a wholesaler, you're signing a contract, and that's something you really need to understand your state, your laws, your requirements for that, because you're taking a contract and you're putting some money down. That's going to be your earnest money deposit, and then you're selling your rights in that contract to another party. So what you need to know is you need to know the numbers in the deal. You can't get something out here at the highest price. You probably have to buy the property 20, 30, 40 cents on the dollar, because the person you're selling it to, it has to be meat on the bone for them to make money too. Otherwise, why would they buy it? Absolutely.
So make sure you buy with the right margin is what I'm hearing, correct?
Absolutely. You always make your money on the buy, regardless of what branch of real estate you work in, whether it's buy and hold, whether it's passive income, whether it's rentals, whatever it is, you make your money on the buy.
Cool. Like if I really wanted to go and buy a deal, like my next door neighbor has a house, it's worth $180,000, I can give him $90,000 for it.
Yeah.
What do I need to actually put down?
Well, legally, so for a contract to have money that's in consideration, all you need is $1.
Oh, wow.
Now, what you need to work out with the seller is what that number is. For me personally, I do $100, and I tell my sellers, hey, look, we're working on a lot of properties. We can't afford to tie up a bunch of money in the property. If I needed to go up to $1,000, I would. But I'm not going to put $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 like I would if I was living in a house, because that's not my intention. I'm buying a house to invest, to sell it. So for my contracts, I use $100.
So you're telling me that you put down $100 to buy somebody's house and then resell it and make thousands of dollars from doing that?
Yes, sir.
What the heck? You know what we're doing in 2020? We don't have problems. We have challenges and we finding solutions. Mm-hmm. And I think we pretty much been on here long enough. I don't want to keep you guys waiting, and I don't want this video to be too long. We're going to break it up into 2 parts so that you guys can get all of this without feeling like having watched the old video. If you want to get more into detail, that's going to be great. We'll definitely give you guys a way to contact us. Make sure you look in the comments below. We'll leave our emails and our social media. Till then, I'll let y'all. Be safe.
All right, guys. Stay hungry.
Yeah. Well.